Atlanta shines as a beacon of southern prosperity, its skyline towering against the horizon, a symbol of culture, growth, and opportunity. Known for its dynamic mix of museums, theaters, and cultural spaces, as well as green sanctuaries like the beloved Piedmont Park, Atlanta pulses with life. This thriving metropolis is also a major economic and technological powerhouse in the southern United States, drawing in waves of innovation and growth. But beneath this glistening facade lies a reality far from the glossy image, a hidden struggle marked by hardship and survival. According to the 2024 point-in-time count, the scale of homelessness in Atlanta is deeply concerning. This year, an estimated 2,867 people are reported to be experiencing homelessness, a number that has risen by 7% from the previous year. Of this group, roughly 1,827 people stay in shelters or temporary housing, while an alarming 1,040 individuals have no access to shelter whatsoever, spending each night outdoors or wherever they can find a place to rest. So what are the driving forces behind these numbers? The roots of this crisis are complex and interwoven. Among the key factors are the soaring costs of housing and rent in Atlanta, which have placed severe strain on the city's lower-income residents, creating a ripple effect of financial instability. Additionally, there is a notable shortage of affordable mental health services and rehabilitation programs, leaving many without the support they need. For some, temporary housing programs offer a lifeline, but even those remain a stopgap rather than a long-term solution for the majority who still dream of a permanent home. The situation has also worsened as the aid programs established during the pandemic have come to an end. Families struggling to find shelter often face the added difficulty of staying together, as many shelters in the city separate people based on gender, making it nearly impossible for parents and children to find safety under the same roof. The Pitt report sheds further light on the homeless population, revealing that 25% are women and girls, with 35% being people aged 55 or older. For these older individuals, facing the harsh realities of life on the streets is particularly heartbreaking. Furthermore, 67% of the homeless population live with disabilities, and a striking 48% of adults experience serious mental health conditions. Substance abuse remains a pervasive challenge as well, affecting 40% of those experiencing homelessness. The opioid crisis has escalated into a full-blown emergency in Georgia, with its devastating effects rippling through almost every community in the state. Data from the Georgia Department of Public Health shows a staggering 302% increase in overdose deaths involving opioids between 2010 and 2022. This dramatic rise underscores the profound and far-reaching impacts of opioid misuse, a crisis that affects people from all walks of life. The numbers are sobering. In 2022 alone, around 1,601 individuals lost their lives due to fentanyl overdoses. Synthetic opioids, particularly fentanyl, have driven this surge, given their extraordinary potency and heightened risks. Fentanyl is not only significantly stronger than heroin or other prescription opioids, but even a small amount can be fatal. Its potency has made overdoses increasingly common and tragically lethal. But the crisis doesn't end there. Beyond fentanyl, we're seeing the emergence of even more dangerous synthetic analogs, including fentanyl combined with substances like xylazine, an animal tranquilizer that's been illegally mixed into the drug supply. Originally intended for large animals, xylazine can have devastating effects on humans. When combined with fentanyl, it makes overdoses far more difficult to treat, as it completely halts the user's respiratory system, complicating traditional opioid overdose responses. In Atlanta, Georgia, the fentanyl trade is fueled by a complex web of local drug networks, cross-border trafficking, and street-level distribution, often tied to organized crime. Criminal organizations play a significant role in driving the opioid crisis in the region, blending the deadly potency of synthetic opioids into the illicit drug market. The Georgia Gang Investigators Association reports that an estimated 65% of crimes in the state are linked to gang activity. Across Georgia, nearly 1,974 known gangs are estimated to operate with more than 127,000 active members. In the bustling urban center of Atlanta, numerous gangs are highly active, with operations that span the city and extend their reach across the state. One prominent example is the Ghostface Gangsters, a white supremacist gang with a significant presence, particularly within Georgia's prison system. Originally a prison network, Ghostface Gangsters has expanded through contraband communications, engaging in a range of violent activities both inside and outside correctional facilities. This group has grown notorious for its willingness to target law enforcement officers, demonstrating a ruthless approach to protecting their interests. Other prominent gangs, including the Bloods and the Crips, have members predominantly from Black communities and are deeply involved in drug trafficking and street violence. Both white and Black gangs often lure younger generations into their ranks, using the glamorization of gang life on social media and in local neighborhoods to attract recruits. This glamorized portrayal makes gang life appear enticing to vulnerable youth, who may be seeking community or financial opportunity, but ultimately find themselves drawn into a cycle of violence and crime.
It's really a military base, however, we got big sticks, big guns, big 30, big 50, big drums.
The streets of Atlanta are not only claimed by gangs, but also haunted by the tragic stories of unsolved child murders, leaving deep emotional scars for the families of victims and a city struggling to find answers. Atlanta has garnered a grim reputation when it comes to handling these cases, with many unresolved incidents serving as painful reminders of innocent lives cut short. In recent years, cases of child murders have stirred profound concern across the community. One particularly heart-wrenching incident occurred in 2022, when a 6-month-old infant became a casualty of a drive-by shooting. This horrifying event is part of a larger, unsettling pattern of violence that has cast a shadow over the city and intensified public worry about safety, especially for the youngest residents. These tragic losses are often linked to gang-related violence and the dangerous environments in certain neighborhoods where gun violence is prevalent. Atlanta's struggle with child murders echoes the city's dark past, notably the infamous Atlanta child murders case that gripped the nation between the late 1970s and early 1980s. Over roughly 2 years, 29 children and young adults, predominantly from the Black community, were found murdered. Although Wayne Williams was eventually convicted for 2 of these murders, authorities connected him to most of the others, a controversial conclusion that has left many questions unanswered and families yearning for closure.
It could have been me. This could have been me. And so this is how I know for sure that Wayne hadn't done anything that they said he's done. I was waiting.
Atlanta has also become a well-known hub for the darker world of sex work, which frequently overlaps with human trafficking. Many individuals working in this industry, often thought of as perpetrators, are themselves victims, trapped in a larger network of exploitation. An investigation by 11 Alive titled "Selling Girls" revealed alarming statistics. 83% of sex trafficking victims in the United States are American citizens, and a staggering 94% of these victims are female, with the average age of entry into trafficking being under 15. Atlanta's reputation as a central hub for sex trafficking in the southeastern United States makes it a frequent destination for individuals seeking illicit encounters. Sex workers can often be found in various hotspots around the city, including motels, strip clubs, and even large-scale events like the Super Bowl, which often serve as magnets for sex trade activity. A troubling aspect of this crisis is the public visibility of such activities. Sex workers often operate openly in residential areas, where children and families live and where young students walk to school each day. It's not uncommon to find remnants of the trade, used condoms discarded on sidewalks, highlighting the extent to which these activities infiltrate daily life and compromise the community's sense of safety and decency. Is littering and proper waste disposal really such a rare habit among Atlanta residents? The issue of illegal dumping certainly suggests so. Illegal waste disposal has become a serious and visible problem in Atlanta, catching the attention of both local authorities and community members. The areas most affected are often quiet, isolated roads or out-of-the-way spaces where people feel free to dump their waste without fear of being seen. The range of discarded items is broad, including old tires, broken furniture, and construction debris, items that require effort and, often, fees to dispose of properly. Many cases involve auto repair shops and tire retailers that, instead of paying for authorized disposal services, opt to offload their waste illegally. According to Al Wiggins from Atlanta Public Works, the city receives over 2,000 complaints related to illegal dumping each year, but only a fraction of these cases can be investigated due to the challenge of catching offenders in the act. Residents in DeKalb County have voiced similar frustrations. They report that illegal dumping has plagued their neighborhoods for over a decade, making some areas feel neglected and unappealing. Then there's the ongoing issue of traffic congestion, which tests the patience of Atlanta's drivers every day. Atlanta ranks among the top 10 cities in the United States for severe traffic, with the average driver spending about 51 hours each year stuck in gridlock. This congestion has an economic impact as well, costing each driver around $1,257 per year in lost time and extra fuel expenses. Much of Atlanta's congestion stems from its rapid population growth, paired with infrastructure that hasn't kept pace with the swelling number of vehicles on the roads. During peak commute times, major highways like I-285 and I-85 are packed with cars, creating frustrating bottlenecks. Furthermore, Atlanta's public transportation options are limited, prompting many residents to rely on personal vehicles instead. The city's sprawling metropolitan layout further contributes to the problem, as residents often need cars to navigate daily life across wide distances.